You are listening to the DisruptHER Series. Our world is constantly evolving, and at the forefront of that change are women who dare to disrupt. I'm Jennifer Fields.
And I'm Sydney Robertson. Join us as we bring you an exclusive look into the journeys of visionary female founders and influential corporate leaders.
Get ready for candid conversations, a dose of inspiration, and actionable takeaways from the disruptors themselves. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everyone. You are here for the DisruptHER Series podcast with our wonderful guest, Natasha Penzo. Welcome, Natasha.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you as well. Natasha is the founder of Homekin, which is a really cool company that basically flips design on its ass, basically, and shakes things up in the sense that you have accessibility to designers. So Natasha comes from a more traditional background when it comes to design and development and real estate. And she's going to tell us today a bit about her journey creating Homekin, what her why is, why she created it, and where she's at today. So Natasha, do you want to dive in a little bit about why Homekin and where it all started for you?
Yeah, well, thank you for the introduction, Sydney. So, my background is more traditional. I am the co-founder of Urban Blueprint with my brother, which is a traditional design and build company specializing in construction project management, interior design in the residential home building space, doing custom homes, renovations, remodels. I'm also a licensed real estate broker with the Penzo team at Chestnut Park. Really, my why is I've been in the traditional industry for almost 15 years. I've had quite a breadth of experience career-wise. And I think COVID was really the impetus that gave me some time to reflect and look at the industry as a whole and say, like, you have a market on a macro level of customers spending billions of dollars on home furniture and decor, but you have a very little percentage that actually ask or get design help because it's inaccessible, overwhelming, quite frankly, really expensive for most people. So how can we take that white space and opportunity and really bring interior design to everyone? And that was really the light that went off in my head to launch Homekin and say, I want to create access for people to live beautifully.
Which I love.
You do a lot. How do you find the time to do all of these different ventures?
So now I'm very focused on Homekin. We're launching our technology later this year, which I'm super excited to talk about. I would say I'm really gritty and resilient, and I have a very, very supportive system around me from family, friends. We have 3 children, and we have a nanny who is like, I give her so much credit. She's like my lifeline. So, just being like energetic, resilient, and also just finding the support and then like saying no to a lot of things too, right? And really moving the needle forward with what I need to prioritize in my life to achieve my goals.
So Homekin, I mean, you mentioned you're in the early stages. We'd love to hear like a big deep dive on the tech, obviously, but
Right.
the process, I mean, there are some female founders that are going to be listening to this podcast.
Yes.
For those out there, it is a bit of a journey. It can be challenging, a bit daunting. What was the first step you took when you ideated the idea of Homekin? Where did you start?
I started really with the idea and building the logo and brand. I didn't really know what the kind of the systematics of the business was going to be. I just knew there was an opportunity. And it took me a little time to kind of figure out like what the kind of processes were going to be around the business. So my first step was like naming the company, building the brand. And then as I kind of like flushed it out, I built an MVP. So tested it with like early adopters. And really what we do is we match customers with interior designers across North America based on design style, budget, and geographic location. And for a very accessible price point, we sell a room refresh virtually and in person. It's 589 Canadian dollars for the
Wild.
virtual. You get a furniture layout, style boards, and a shopping list. So we also aggregate hundreds of vendors with, like trillions of SKUs of furniture and decor across the internet. If you're not getting design help, it's really hard to kind of narrow down what you're going to buy as a
It's
consumer.
overwhelming.
Or you're like, I had so many customers say, like, thank you. I bought the wrong size rug
Oh gosh.
so many times.
I've done that.
Right?
Yeah, it happens way too often.
Yeah. So I was getting this great kind of feedback from our early adopters. So I built the MVP. We've been able to double our revenue year over year. So now in 2025, we're building out our technology, which is, a front end and back end platform. We have a proprietary algorithm that really defines the consumer style and then matches with their interior designer accordingly. And then on the back end, we have, full payment processing through the site. All communication between designer and customer takes place there, really honing down what their shopping order will be and being able to check out and do all the procurement through our platform.
That's amazing.
Thanks.
Do you have a background in technology? And if you don't, like, how did you get up to speed and find the right people to work with?
So, I literally know zero about technology. I have a partner who is an engineer, specializes in AI as well. And he's taught me so much. What I am really passionate about is democratizing industries that are not. So, being able to give people access and kind of disrupt the space. Um, and I kind of view building a product in what is very much a service industry as the way you would look at a theatrical performance. Like you've got the dancers, you've got the orchestra, you've got the costume designers, and it's all of these kind of moving parts, and how can you put them together in a product that's going to dance beautifully together? So when you're building, technology, it's making sure the user experience on the front end is really beautiful, and how are they going to feel when they click that button, and how are they navigating through the app, and what do certain things look like, and how is it going to make them feel? And then on the back end, how can we really simplify the designer experience? So what may take them hours and hours to source, you know, a sofa for a specific client? How can we use specific inputs and technology to make their job a lot easier? Because ultimately designers want to design and
Right.
be creative and do what they love, and they don't want to do all the administrative stuff that really just takes away from the fun of their job.
So it's a tech first company, but there are humans behind the tech, right? So these designers are
Absolutely.
amazing women and men who are experts in their field. When it comes down to it, the tech, the algorithm does its thing.
Mhm.
How then does the designer then kick in and then personalize the experience for the customer?
Yeah, that's such a great question. We are very centric
Hmm.
and tech driven. So, like, the human is at the forefront of
Hmm.
this product, and the designer gets very collaborative with the customer. And we also place a big focus on ensuring the customer feels like the creative director of their
I
space
love
too,
that.
right?
Yeah.
So, really empowering the customer to, feel like their home is really uniquely theirs.
Hmm.
And the designer and the customer really collaborate, and it's just using, technology to make the process more efficient. Because when we think about the industry, it's so antiquated. You've got vendors kind of everywhere, and being able to aggregate all these great vendors, whether it's wholesale vendors or mass retailers like Crate and Barrel, Pottery Barn, West Elm, but being able to aggregate them all into one platform that's easy to navigate for the designer and for the customer is so critical for us.
That's amazing. So your designers are across North America, it looks
Correct.
like from your site and what
Hmm.
you've told us. So then when they're involved, how do they, do they show your schedule? How, because they're also very busy in their own careers as
Hmm.
well. How
Yeah.
does that work from a management and infrastructure?
Yeah, so the algorithm matches the consumer with three different designers, and then the customer is able to choose, and the designer can choose when they're alerted that they've received a project. They can either decide to take it, or and we have built in the availability of the designer into the algorithm. So
Smart.
a designer can indicate how many projects they want to take on a biweekly basis.
A lot of retailers are kind of old school, right? Like they don't
Mhm.
even have an online website or a catalog.
Mhm.
So how are you approaching like finding the right vendors to work with and getting access to those SKUs?
Yeah, so we can pull from the vendors' catalogs directly. We also enable the designer to add items to their specific shopping list because it's going to be a work in progress to really aggregate our own catalog. But we've been working with our suppliers and vendors for a few years now. So we've built great relationships with them. And it's also finding really interesting, unique vendors that we love when a customer might not have really even heard of the brand
Mm.
before. So when we're doing kids in nursery rooms are really popular for us, obviously, because they change over more often. But we have a brand from Senegal, and these women embroider these beautiful pillows with, words like liberté or bébé or,
Mm.
happiness. And they're just like a really feel good, beautiful item that I don't think a customer would have really been able to find otherwise just by, going into Google.
Right.
Yeah, I can see a lot of like those vendors that are on
Mhm.
Etsy
Yeah.
wanting to find ways to contribute to your app as well.
Yeah, and we love that. Like, I love when even a designer brings up a brand that,
Mm.
our leadership team wouldn't have known about. So, it's a really collaborative process.
You told me about you working on an Airbnb project. Is that something you
Yes.
can talk about?
Yes, definitely.
So, do you mind telling us a bit about what that looks like as you work with a company like Airbnb?
Yeah, so usually it's like one customer that has multiple Airbnb projects, which
Ah.
is quite nice. I just to give like an example of a customer, they have a basement apartment in Cabbagetown. So the look and feel that they requested for that was very like fun and, adding a really exciting wallpaper and some bold colors, just because that would be the demographic in that market, being like urban cool, pride, ready to party kind of vibe. And then they also have a beautiful farmhouse in Coburg. So the look and feel there is a little more Scandinav.
Oh, nice.
Um, and that's what's really exciting, I think, about our business is when you look at the traditional design industry, most individual designers have a very specific look and feel. So as a customer, you're probably going to that designer because you love their style.
Right.
With us, it's really about defining the customer
Mhm.
style and owning that and then matching them appropriately. So, what would maybe take a customer months to find the designer that they wanna work with because they're trying to figure it out,
Right.
we're able to, within really minutes of the customer filling out their style quiz, match them. And
Which is wild because usually it takes, again, like the process. I know you've gone through the journey. It can
yeah.
take months on end. And sometimes you don't have the time. You're also busy yourself, trying to
Mhm.
schedule the right time in person, all these things. Like you
Yes.
eliminate that whole
Yeah,
challenge.
we
So that's
really try to
roadblock.
go from, like, okay, I have a room I wanna refresh or a house or an Airbnb, and eliminate kind of the months that it would take
Mhm.
to hit go to, like, minutes or days.
Literally days. So
Mhm.
I come to you on a Monday, got an Airbnb for you
Mhm.
in Prince Edward County, cute little house.
Mhm.
I need it ready by July 1st. That's feasible.
100%, and our turnaround time with, the furniture layouts, the style
Mhm.
boards, the shopping list is typically about a week. So, we're
Wow.
able to really just through the efficiencies that we've implemented with technology and the designers that work on our platform are just so used to the process
Right.
that they're really, focused on this type of deliverable that
Mhm.
they're very efficient and so we can work very quickly.
Is this your own self-investment or are you working towards getting some funding to support you along the way?
To date, it's been self-funded. I foresee that as the business scales up from hundreds of customers to hundreds of thousands of customers, there will be a need to raise financing, um, whether that's through individual investors or VCs. I think we'll kind of have a clearer picture on that in the next 6 months as we roll out our platform and app. But I think, definitely that's something we'll be exploring.
as female founders, it could be a bit challenging sometimes to get
Hmm.
that capital raised. What are ways you recommended early stage female founders to kind of get started? And is it through community? Is it through going to the VC companies, like to the full extreme? Like, what would you recommend as someone coming in as a female founder? The first
Yeah, I think
steps.
it's so specific on your experience. So there's, amazing incubators
Mm.
in Canada and specifically Toronto, like DMC, which is part of
This
Toronto
one? Yeah.
Metropolitan University. And then there's Next Founders, which is not for profit, but has really, we've seen some great tech companies come out of there. But I think it depends, like, I think I have an MBA in, entrepreneurship and
Wow.
finance, so
Good for you.
for me, that might not be, like, the right approach because I already have, like, a very strong business acumen and background, but I think if you're maybe a younger founder who doesn't have a business background, is maybe right out of school, an incubator would be a great approach because they give you, like, a very comprehensive, 3-month rigorous in, like, finance
Mm.
and VC and everything, but I think if you're maybe, like, more experienced, like I'm in my late 30s, then just going straight to raising through angel investors or VCs would be the better approach. And another thing I've done is really surrounded myself with a supportive community of women
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, which has been so critical for confidence and
Yeah.
knowledge sharing. And like even just like the lunch we had
Yeah.
with you having worked in tech.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's the most important because like the days can sometimes be really lonely and hard.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that support, you can, I think, either give up
Mhm.
or just not have the confidence to really push through to the best of your abilities. So I have quite a few friends that are tech entrepreneurs and at a bit of a later stage than I am. And
Mhm.
I can pick up the phone anytime and be like, here's what I'm doing. What do you think? Or like I saw her the other day and I'm like, I'm talking about push notifications and I'm so excited. And she's like, you're at the fun part of the journey. Yeah.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we at our lunch we had, we talked a lot about leadership.
Hmm.
So you mentioned being it's a bit lonely. I think you outsourced some of your engineers from is it Portland or there's I can't remember where exactly they're from.
So our head engineer is based in Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
Um we haven't really outsourced. Like our designers are across North America. So they're like
Maybe that's what I'm
some in
thinking of.
Austin,
Yeah.
Utah.
But I think I could have gone that wrong, but I know
Yeah.
you're talking about having people that worked physically around, like in your physical office space. So
Yes.
trying to lead
Yes.
at a time where, things are moving quickly.
Yes.
AI is at the forefront of all technology,
Mhm.
which we can
Mhm.
dive into deeper in a minute.
Mhm.
But then leadership. So I know when you and I were talking, we're talking about what are some ways I can invest in my employees, right?
Mhm.
Some programs. So how do you as a leader, as a CEO, a founder of a company,
Mhm.
approach leadership at this time when it's moving so quickly and everyone is decentralized?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I think about it like all the time.
Mm.
Because yes, our base of employees are hybrid workers
Yeah.
for the most part. So how do you really keep them motivated and collaborative? And I think like implementing some programs where you can have, you know, annual or quarterly meetups in person where whether it's in key markets moving forward, but also like ensuring that they feel really supportive and not alone. So
Mhm.
I like am in contact with our designers all the time. As we scale, that'll be a little more challenging, but it's really my goal to ensure that they feel like they can always talk to leadership about, the process when they're designing, or if they have, not every experience is going to go great with a customer. You
Mhm.
will have like some challenges. So knowing that they can come to us and they don't feel alone.
Mhm.
Um, and then I also just had great mentors
Mhm.
when I was working that really shaped, I think, the way I want to lead. And ultimately, I want to lead with like kindness and love.
Mhm.
Um, even though we're in such a fast moving industry, I think just remembering that we're all just like human beings
Yeah.
and we're ultimately hoping to do what we love. And as I'm going through major designer recruitment in the next few months and just on the phone all the time with, potential designers, I've hear a lot of stories which are very enlightening. So I was on the phone with a woman um, who lives in Texas, and her son has spina bifida. So she has to spend a lot of time at home, and
Mhm.
this type of work really gives her the opportunity to do what she loves, which is designing, but
Mhm.
also be at home with her son who has special needs. So, um, on the front end, working with customers, but also on the back end, just like these amazing stories of different
Mhm.
people, right?
Yeah. That is amazing. Jen and I were at an event this past week,
Yeah.
centering around AI and its impact on culture and leadership.
Hmm.
So, one thing that really came up from the leaders that were on the panel and our coaching circles were really around with AI taking care of a lot of those we'll call them mundane or just
Hmm.
very not menial,
Administrative.
administrative. Thanks, Jenny. Roles and responsibilities. It almost gives more time to really focus in on those more EQ type of skills. Are you
Hmm.
finding, as you were mentioning earlier about it, that there are humans behind all this, how AI does play a role in your company? Do you see it as a full strength? Any threats you're seeing? And as a leader, is it helping you really lean into that human aspect of leadership?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's going to really help us focus more on exceptional customer experience
Hmm.
because all the bullshit that you don't really want to
Yeah.
do, like dealing with like procurement and logistics, or just again in our industry, really taking the amount of SKUs that are out there and really refining it to be able to provide great recommendations to our customers in a much
Hmm.
faster way um, is so critical. And like that is, although we're an accessible price point and our business is, meant to be scalable and give more people access to great design, we still put a major focus on concierge level, like white glove service. So,
Which is amazing. I mean, the people are gonna have some serious competition out there trying to keep up with you.
yeah, no, it's interesting because I have a
Yeah.
lot of traditional designer friends, and
Right.
it's I
You
appreciate what
can't
that we're
beat
a
them, join them.
different yeah. Yeah, and I would say, like, also, although, we're at a more mass market level, we do have, like, a 15 to 20% segment of our customer who is just, like, a woman executive, very busy, doesn't have time for the traditional design approach, and has a pretty substantial average order to value per room.
Mhm.
So, you know, purchasing from like the B&B Italias of the world versus sort of more like the mass market
Right.
furniture brands.
Mhm.
So, and we love that customer.
Mhm.
And it's more just they're just super busy and don't have the time and they just want a streamlined approach.
That's
Throughout
really
this
fun.
journey, um, did you experience any challenges along the way and some things that you would want to do differently?
I think I wish I had sort of the confidence when I was first building the MVP to start our tech a little sooner. Um, but it took some time to find the right partner to do that with.
Yeah.
Um, and I always lead with gut and intuition, and I feel like every decision I've made, I've really like checked in with my heart and my gut, and so I don't really have any regrets. Of course there's been challenges, but I feel like I'm quite a gritty person, so been able to figure it out.
How long has this been in the works? Like, how long have you been thinking about starting this business?
Since COVID, and then I really ramped it up. Like I had a so I have 3 kids. I can't even remember when we had our 3rd. Um, I feel like once our 3rd turned like 1, I was really able to like, "Okay, I'm myself again.
Mhm.
I'm, like, ready to roll career-wise more aggressively." So, I'd say, like, around a year now that he's 2. Yeah.
And when's your estimated launch date?
End of June, our mobile side will be like our app won't be ready until end of August, but our website will be ready end of June. And then obviously gathering a lot of customer feedback and iterating over the course of 2025 to really fine tune.
So exciting.
Thank you.
You mentioned, which I picked up on, was how you lead with gut and intuition.
Hmm.
I think that's a very strong female leadership trait.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to dive into that a bit more because back to, again, talking about AI and the
Yeah.
things that are taken care of by the amazingness that is AI. Do you tell us more about why you, like, I guess, leading into yourself and trusting yourself and going with that gut intuition? Maybe just diving in a bit about that process for yourself and how that's benefited you.
Generally, as a person, I'm just like really quite spiritual and have like good read on
Energy.
energy and vibes. So I think that's helped me a little bit. And I mean, I've been working for a long
Yeah.
time. So, like, I have parents who are immigrants and really instilled a very strong work ethic in my brother and I. Like, I was always encouraged to work throughout high school, whatever that may have been. I worked in a fish restaurant one summer as like an assistant cook, and I worked in retail, folding clothes, and I learned a lot, so much through, like, just, like, the people around me, like, I don't even think everyone's like, "I need a mentor." I don't think you necessarily need to look for a mentor. I think a lot of times they're, like, right in front of you.
If you're
S
open to
Yeah.
receive.
So, like, when I was working in public relations in my early 20s, I had 2 amazing bosses, and I would just, like, listen to, like, how they did things or, like, even how they, like, would go and order coffee, like, just really watching how they conducted business or even how they conducted their family life. There was, like, so much to learn there, and I think every kind of I would call them mentors along the way, whether they know it or not, really kinda taught me how I wanna lead.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
It's such a strong characteristics because I feel sometimes we get so kind of siloed and like this is what I have to do when we're not looking around us, right? And
Mhm.
all the things that you've learned over the years has shaped who you are today, right?
Yeah.
How you are a leader, how you created your companies.
100%. And I would say how I make decisions in business is with my gut. But I would say when it comes to what a customer says,
Mhm.
whatever a customer says is true to them. So I always take it very
Mm.
seriously. It doesn't necessarily always guide my business decisions, but satisfying the customer is like number one. So yeah, I think I make decisions differently based on customer and based on what I think is best for the business.
What was the most craziest job or interesting job you've ever had?
Okay, yeah. Most interesting, like, really memorable, and I felt very glam about it at the time, was right out of my undergrad. I was a fashion intern at Fashion Magazine, and you were in media and
Yes, did
print.
as well. We
We
both
met
worked
at
at
yeah,
Rogers
we met in the
Media.
Rogers days. Back to
Yeah.
the Flair, Lulu.
Yeah. And you were at Fashion Magazine?
Yeah, like, I was like, "I wanna be, like, an editor-in-chief. This is the coolest job ever." So, I was an intern on the fashion office side, so I was, like my fashion editor would, like, ask us to call, like, Dolce& and Gabbana and, like, request looks from, like, fall, winter. I don't even know what year it was a long time ago. And we would call in these beautiful looks for the editorial shoots, and then the interns, we would, like, drag hockey bags to these photo shoots, which, by the way, take, like, 10 hours for a few looks, right? So you're there with,
Mhm.
like, hair and makeup and then the models and then all these amazing like, you would lay out the dresses and the accessories and the handbags, and I love fashion so much, but, like, again, going back to, like, how building a technology product feels like a performance coming together, for me, watching
Oh.
like a fashion set and then like seeing it go into the print magazine was such like this amazing combination of art direction and styling and model and like fashion brands coming together and then seeing it on the page of a magazine was like so freaking awesome. I loved it.
That's
Did you
so
ever get to
fun.
bring any of the stuff home?
No, that Like I definitely would like try it on in the closet, and that was fun. But it was also like model size. So, but yeah, so fun and like just such exposure to just like beauty.
I remember we had a spiff, or one of the sales teams had a spiff, and they could win a pair of Christian Louboutins at the time when it was at.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you remember also, so when we were at Rogers and had the it was like again the Chatelaine flares, the Lulus, what have you, they'd have these like sales and they would have they got all the
Yes,
products
they
from
would
the
sell,
editor
like,
closet
yes.
and it'd be fire sale and you couldn't bring a bag in and it was whatever you could.
Yeah.
Every item was $1.
Yeah.
And it was whatever you could physically carry. So we would like bring like bigger shirts that day so we could like cradle all the shampoos.
Because there was like the
and
beauty closet,
the
right?
beauty
Yeah.
closet, and you'd shop the beauty closet, and it would be like,
Amazing.
each floor had like an allotted time, and it was like a bonanza. Wasn't that so fun? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it had
That
such
was
different
honestly like the
reviews.
heyday. Like it does make me sad. Like, of course, I love digital, but
Yeah.
that was
miss
really the
it.
heyday of like media and publishing,
Yeah.
and it was so much fun.
Yes. It's been a long time since I bought a magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty dedicated.
Yeah?
I do love flipping through like beautiful home magazines.
mm,
It's just such a luxury.
yeah.
Just like the way the page feels.
I
But
still got AD, and I
yeah.
actually still get fashion magazines.
Yeah.
Well, because also I know that I can buy them in Canada.
Yeah.
Since they're Toronto based, right? So I
Yeah.
know that
No,
any
it's good to
product they have
support.
in there,
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about any kind of tax duties,
Yeah.
or like they're available at a boutique in Toronto or
Yeah.
somewhere in Canada. So
Love it.
I'm the same thing. It's and Toronto Life is my other one I always get.
Yeah.
And
Same.
it's like before bed, it's like my little like
I know.
pleasure just going through and taking time with the
So good.
articles.
So
There's
good.
nothing like that it can take away.
No.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite books or podcasts that you want to share with the audience that you would recommend that
Okay, like
inspire you?
so many. Like how much time do we
top
have?
three.
Because I'm going on a hike in Utah this summer, and I'm hiking 42 kilometers a day for 3 days.
Oh
my
my
gosh.
gosh.
So I've been walking nonstop these days. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. So of course I love your podcast. We have our own called Beyond Four Walls, but really I love Diary of a CEO.
Loves,
Yes.
yeah.
So
love him. Yeah,
amazing.
he's amazing.
I listen to How I Built This a lot.
Mm.
Acquired. The Founders podcast is great because they like do like snippets of
Mhm.
founders stories. Invest Like the Best. Honestly, there's like a whole range. I typically do like listening to business podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've really, just because I've been walking so much, I haven't really been reading like print, but
Podcasts are great for that though, right? Because it's
Yeah.
story time. Like I drive a lot now because I don't
Yeah.
commute in from outside the city. And so it's my favorite time. It's like, okay, putting on the podcast, having a little lineup.
100%. I love it.
Amazing.
How do you start your day? Like, are you an early riser? Do you have a routine you follow?
I like so want to be an early riser, and I like go through stages of committing to that. I do try to journal when like I don't know, waking up at 5:30, like yeah, whatever, but like I can't. It's just I'm too tired by the end of the day. So I'd say like I wake up around 7. I try to journal in the morning, like my goals, my gratitudes, and really manifest. I also am like a big like morning routine person.
Mhm.
So I have like my AG1, then my lemon water, and then I wait to have coffee. I am like obsessed with like facial massaging and like
Gua sha.
and the gua sha, and like my daughter who's 6 will like come and enjoy that time with me. So it's really special. And I like love working out too. So I think mornings are pretty sacred.
Natasha, thank you so much today for coming in. Like, I'm
Thank you
so inspired by your company and your journey. So
Thank you, Sydney and Jenny, for having me. I'm like so grateful to be here.
you're part of our journey now too.
Thanks for joining. We hope you're feeling as inspired as we are to shake things up and drive positive change.
If you like what you heard, don't forget to subscribe and give us our show rating. We'll catch you on the next one.